Conservative new media viewers and NBA and Lakers fans around the world, what's going on? It's me, Paul F. Villarreal, the NBA expert. And we've got some really bad news to pass along regarding Kobe Bryant and the Los Angeles Lakers. As you may have heard by now already, it appears as though Kobe Bryant in his 17th NBA season may have suffered a torn Achilles tendon tonight in the waning moments of tonight's game against the Golden State Warriors, a game which the Los Angeles Lakers won, and it's an important win for them as they try to secure the 8th and final playoff spot in the NBA's Western Conference. Now, I want to say this right now. I have some familiarity with Achilles tendon injuries. I have never torn my Achilles, but I have had significant problems with Achilles tendonitis. And I can tell you, if you believe you tore your Achilles, and if you heard a pop, which is what Kobe said he heard, unfortunately, you probably tore it, or you're going to have a serious partial tear. Honestly, if you hear a pop, that's pretty likely a tear. But Kobe is a very tough guy, physically and mentally, and he's played through all kinds of different injuries, but you can't play through an Achilles tendon tear if you're a basketball player. It's just simply isn't possible. It's a long-term injury. It's a type of injury that usually requires about 9 months of serious rehabilitation. And when you come back, it takes time to get your explosion back, your speed, everything. Chauncey Billups for the Los Angeles Clippers, another guard who suffered an Achilles injury. I mean, he struggled with it the entire year this year, even though he had the injury last year, and he was really optimistic about coming back from it, but he's had trouble with it, and it's taken him a while to come back, and then he's had other leg injuries this year and other assorted injuries, and that's what happens when you get a bad injury. You can compensate for it. If you try to come back too quick, you can end up with other types of injuries. So, look, as you see in the headline of the title here, this is a potentially career-threatening injury to Kobe Bryant. Now, he can come back from this. I'm not saying he can't come back from it, but given his age and the amount of mileage on him, this could be, almost it for him. There's been serious speculation by Kobe himself that next year could be his last year. And, this is a really difficult thing. It's just, I didn't expect this. That's why I'm a little bit just kind of shocked that it happened. And let's just talk about this all here. I'm going to put two articles in the video description below the video player so you can go and check them out. One of them, I believe, has a video of the injury. I didn't see it, but I don't know if I want to see it, honestly. One of the things that Kobe was trying to do, of course, he wanted to get 6 championship rings to tie Michael Jordan. But one of the other goals that seemed very clear to me that Kobe had was he wanted to pass Michael Jordan in the all-time scoring list. I believe Kobe's around 1,000 points away, or 500. He's not very far away. But now with this injury, that's threatened, right? So is Kobe going to come back from this? Will he come back from this so he can pass Michael Jordan? Will he come back from this so that he can leave the game on his own terms? I want to hear what you guys have to say about that. I don't know. My guess would be as competitive as Kobe is, he won't want to go out like this. I've seen other athletes suffer serious injuries in the NBA, and they want to come back so that they don't leave on this type of a note. And again, let's be clear. Kobe does want to pass Michael Jordan. I am very sure of that. And if he passed Michael Jordan in scoring, he would be the all-time leader in scoring for perimeter players. The only people that would be ahead of him then would be Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Karl Malone, both of whom are post players, low post type of players, big men. Is Kobe going to play again at all? I think he will. But I heard that Kobe was in tears after the game, and you got to understand that this is a guy that's done everything and put his body on the line constantly, and now it's like he's facing his own athletic mortality, and some of these goals that he's wanted might not be achievable anymore, and that's devastating. I don't care what field you're in, if you're in mathematics or whatever, and you come to a point where you might not be able to do it anymore, that's a difficult thing, particularly for somebody for Kobe, who's probably, basketball's been his entire life, since really his whole life, because he grew up with his father being a professional basketball player. So whatever you think of Kobe Bryant, I think we all have to show some respect tonight and just admire him for what he's achieved, because we may not be able to see him at the same level anymore, or if we do, it's probably going to be for a short period of time, just because he's getting older. Until when he plays next, he's going to be 35 years old, most likely. And even though Kobe's only 35 years old, he has an enormous amount of minutes on his legs, and that is what is known as mileage. If you've followed some of my videos here discussing basketball before, I've talked about the amount of mileage on Kobe's legs. The name of the statistic, and actually it's actually a name that I coined, but it's not very complicated, is total career minutes. And that means the combination of regular season minutes and playoff minutes that a player has played in his career. Kobe Bryant, right now, through tonight's game, has played more than 54,000 total career minutes. He is currently number 7 on the all-time total career minutes played list. He is about 150 minutes from moving into the number 5 spot, passing up, I can't remember one of the guys' names, but passing up that somebody and passing up John Stockton. At that point, if he got to the, if he played another 150 minutes in his career, he would be behind only Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Karl Malone, Wilt Chamberlain, and Jason Kidd. Again, all of those, 3 of those players are big men, and one's a perimeter player, Jason Kidd. He's, from a mileage standpoint, Kobe's near the end of the line, regardless of his age. Some people argue, is it age or is it mileage? Most people would tell you it's mileage. And one way or another, Kobe didn't have a lot of time left, but it's difficult for him to see him be in this circumstance. And so I hope he comes back. I hope he comes back, gets a chance to pass Michael Jordan, and gets a chance at another ring. So it's the end of an era here we're talking about. It's not over yet, but this injury, we're getting close. Now, are the Lakers going to make the playoffs this year? I mean, one thing that's lost in all this is they're only a game up on the Utah Jazz. Each of those teams has 2 games left to play. The Lakers they've been playing without Steve Nash for the last 3 or 4 games, and now you got to play without Kobe almost certainly. can the Lakers win the final two games against the San Antonio Spurs and against the Houston Rockets? Are they going to make the playoffs? You know, it would almost be insult on top of injury if the Lakers don't make the playoffs. And Kobe went so hard, he went all out this year, and they don't even make the playoffs in a year that they were heavily favored. They were one of the top favorites for the championship. So that's another question you guys can think about and answer in the comments below. If this is the end for Kobe, and I hope it isn't, how are you going to remember him? What is your memory of Kobe Bryant? What is your thought about his legacy? There's a whole bunch of opinions out there on Kobe. Some people think he's top 10 all time. Some people don't. Some people think he's more like top 15. Some people think Kobe's a better Robin, so to speak, than Batman. He won 3 titles as the second guy, and he's won 2 titles by himself as being the main guy. So what is your feeling about Kobe's legacy right now? If this is his final game, you tell me. I don't know exactly where I'd put Kobe. I personally, I know Bill Simmons has him number 8 all time. I personally am not sure if I have him in the top 10, because to put him in the top 10, I have to put him ahead of guys like Jerry West, ahead of guys like Oscar Robertson, ahead of guys like Shaq, to be honest with you. Shaq didn't always give his all, didn't always try hard, wasn't always in shape, but Shaq was one of the most dominating forces in the history of the NBA, and that has to be taken into account. And let's be clear, Shaq has 3 Finals MVP, and Kobe has 2. These are not easy arguments. I don't care what anybody tells you. Kobe haters can say one thing and Kobe lovers can say another thing. When you're talking about putting Kobe ahead of guys like Moses Malone, Hakeem Olajuwon, Shaq, Oscar Robertson, that's not an easy decision. That is not an easy decision. So I want to hear what you guys have to say. This is a tough night. We all got to be a little bit sad if you're a basketball fan, regardless of what you think about Kobe. Kobe's brought tremendous amount of attention and interest to the NBA, and he's always going to have a very warm spot in a lot of people's hearts. I know a lot of people really love Kobe. A lot of people don't like him, but he's relevant whether you like him or don't, and he's a heck of a basketball player. We're all going to have to stay put and stay tuned. One of the articles I put in there is saying that they have to do an MRI to confirm the injury. But as I said, look, if you hear a pop and you're concerned you suffered a torn Achilles, unfortunately, you probably suffered a torn Achilles. That's the way it usually works with this type of injury. I don't know. Like I said, you guys tell me what you think. I really hope Kobe's able to come back and go out the way he wants to. He deserves that. He's put a lot in. And, there's one final question, and I know this is going to stir up a lot of debate, but it has to be asked. Do you think Mike D'Antoni played him too many minutes this year, and could that have contributed to the injury? I know people are talking about it already. I've seen it on the internet. It's got to be asked. Mike D'Antoni has a reputation for playing his players heavy minutes. And Kobe's been playing, 40, 42, 44 minutes a game. In this game tonight, he played 45 minutes. He was going to play the entire game again. So, what do you think about that? Do you blame D'Antoni? Is it just one of those things that happens with the amount of mileage on Kobe? What do you think? There's a whole bunch to talk about. So let's hear. I want to hear from. I know there's all kinds of Lakers fans in the Philippines and all over Asia, everywhere around the world. Everybody knows, and many people like the Lakers. So I want to hear what you have to say in the comments section below the video player. thumbs up, thumbs down in this video. We encourage you to come and join the Conservative New Media Facebook group, which has over 2,500 members and counting. You'll find information about that in the video description below the video player. I am Paul Villarreal, the NBA expert. Thanks for watching Conservative New Media. We'll talk to you again soon, and let's all hope Kobe can have a full and speedy recovery from this injury. I think we'd all like to see that, even for people that say they don't like it.